Hello everyone and welcome to Battle of the Beasts New Protector Zero Edition, episode number 15. I'm Adam and today we got the last battle of the quarterfinals. This is a battle which is between a very, very hard hitter, probably the hardest of all the hit. Well, okay, the one with the strongest signature move of any beast that is in Beast Quest versus one of the most defensive beasts that has ever taken part in this tournament. So, question is, who will win? I have no idea. So, it really depends on how well the defensive beast can take the other beast's signature attack. And yeah, I am very curious on who would win by my style of narration. But with that, let's introduce them. Representing Series 31, the Guardians of Tangala. I still need to keep checking that. We have book number 3, Heraxor the Firehawk, versus representative of Series 32, Battle on Carador. Book number 1, Dolrus the Spike Destroyer. So with Heraxor versus Dolrus, this is the one with the signature move, and this is the one that is very defensive. So with that, I don't know what I'm going to do here, but we're going to do a... Do I do that arena again? Hold on, how many times have I done that arena? Let's look at the previous... let's look at the other semi-finalists. Okay, so you had that arena. You had that arena. Who did you fight? No, you didn't. You didn't have that arena. Right. Okay, so for the third time this round, let's do the clock arena from the Hunger Games Catching Fire. Yes, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that arena. So let's get to the stats. Heraxor the Firehawk. Heraxor's abilities consist of flight, natural weaponry, enhanced strength and speed, hot to the touch, and send clusters of sunbeams, which is the signature attack, which, if you didn't watch the summary video, requires 30 seconds of charge up time, 30 seconds of cooldown time, where all Heraxor can do is just walk around, not fly, not attack, just walk around, which will be timed by the time of my video. And also, this sunbeam attack is only done once per battle. That's all the, well, apart from the charge up time, that's all the effects which Lucas insisted this beast should have for his signature move. So, yeah, that's the drawback for Heraxor. Let me know what you think about it. I think it's all right, but ultimately, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. So, yeah, that is Heraxor's drawback with his Sunbeam attack. 30 seconds cooldown, 30 seconds charge up, and only once per battle. Dolrus the Spike Destroyer. Dolrus's abilities consist of spiked tail, sharp tusks, thick hide, strong flippers, underwater breathing, and can breathe below and above water. Okay, so with the stats department done for both of these beasts, it's time to get into the battle. As I said, it'll be the clock arena for the Hunger Games Catching Fire, and let the battle begin. As both beasts exit from their chambers, Heraxor immediately goes through the sky exit, lands on the perch, and squawks into the arena, open up is it a he, right? I think it's a he. Opening up his wings to bask in the sun as he looks down to the arena below, looking for his opponent. As Dolrus exits through the underwater chamber, he immediately breaks the surface of the water, waving his flippers around, smashing through two spokes entirely, swinging his tail and slamming it into the wall of the arena, causing the whole arena to shake as Heraxor takes to the sky, lands on the spoke as they stare each other down. Heraxor immediately flies up to Dolrus, who lifts up a flipper to swing towards Heraxor. Heraxor weaves around, dodging it, and using her talons, stabs right at Dolrus's chest area. Dolrus roars in pain from the intense heat that comes to it as he goes to bite down onto Heraxor. Heraxor backs away just in time to miss that snap. The snap that was so forceful, even though a bit thin air, Heraxor knew that would have went right through his bones. Heraxor sees Dolrus' tail coming to swing right at him as he ducks below it and is greeted by a flipper as he lands on the flipper, digs his claws into it as Heraxor swings the flipper around, roaring in pain from the intense heat as Heraxor's keeping a firm grip on Dolrus's flipper, and then Dolrus gets the idea to slam his flipper into the water as Heraxor decides, yeah, let's get out of there, flies away. As Heraxor then lands on top of the perch, he realizes that this beast is quite defensive and needs to be knocked down a peg or so. As Dolrus looks up, he realizes that Heraxor can't go in the water, so let's take away some land. As Dolrus charges himself around, he goes under the water and jumps out of the water and slamming into the whole center arena, shattering the rocky terrain and sinking the spokes with it like he did in the previous battle. As the water kind of creates a well and quickly fills back up with all the other water, sending a geyser of water erupting into the sky, which I forgot to mention for the last battle, by the way. As it starts raining on top of both these beasts, the water that lands on Heraxor immediately evaporates due to how hot Heraxor is. Dolrus notices that and thinks, what is this beast? Surely you should have got some wet by now. Heraxor opens up his wings and squawks into the arena as the sunlight has suddenly gotten a lot stronger and Heraxor absorbs the sunlight. Now, as Dolrus is staring up at that, he goes to swim under the water and jumps out of the water to try and reach for Heraxor. But with how high up Heraxor's literally on top of the arena, like the very top part. Dolrus can't reach it and tries slamming up towards Heraxor, slamming some water up, but none of it is reaching Heraxor at all. As Heraxor is reaching the end of her charge up time, she squawks before flying above the arena and flapping her wings. A cluster of sunbeams comes shooting down into the arena, hitting the water. As Dolrus sees that, as a curiosity, he swims up towards one and has the sunbeam immediately move right onto him as Dolrus roars in pain and dives underwater, seeing the surface of the water bubble up, steam up. The spectators seeing this thinking, oh my god, this is incredible. As the sunbeams are being focused down entirely on the water is very quickly evaporating with the power of the sun. Dolrus is feeling the heat from the water as it's evaporating, and eventually Dolrus is completely out of the water, being burnt by the water as it's evaporating. Dolrus is roaring in pain, and eventually the water's all gone, and the sunbeams are still there, and Heraxor was able to focus them onto Dolrus as Dolrus is being burnt alive by the sunbeams. Dolrus continues roaring in pain, but eventually the sunbeams stop. Heraxor quickly lands into the bottom of the arena, gasping for breath as Dolrus is now shakily standing there, no longer brown, but burnt, very badly burnt, as parts of Dolrus is now swelling up with blisters. Dolrus is barely able to see due to how much he's been burnt in the face. He can't see at all. His tusks are almost brittle, are very brittle now, and his tail non-existent. As Heraxor, 20 seconds ago, by the way, with the rest period, Dolrus eventually gains himself and goes to charge up towards Heraxor, who only makes his way up to Dolrus, sees all the injuries that Dolrus has contained, and with the time limit now up, she takes up to the sky, using her talons, pops all the boils and blisters that have built themselves on Dolrus. As Dolrus roars in pain, trying to slap Heraxor away, as Heraxor continues dodging it. Heraxor then decides to land on top of Dolrus's head, as she continues to radiate heat from her talons and wings, as her wings is now on the side of Dolrus's head. Dolrus is roaring in pain at this, as Dolrus is literally having his head boiled alive by this hawk. Dolrus slams his head into the wall of the arena, trying to get Heraxor off, and Heraxor does come off, flying out of the way. As Dolrus slams his head into the arena with enough force, shattering the brittle tusks that he once had. Dolrus turns around, dazed and confused, staring at this beast, who is just squawking in an aggravated manner, trying to aggravate this very large beast. Dolrus charges up towards Heraxor, going a lot slower than what he was because no water anymore. Lifts up a flipper and slams it down onto Heraxor, but Heraxor dives out of the way and using her wings, touches Dolrus's fin, burning Dolrus's fin as Dolrus feels the intense pain with every sensation, every feeling he has. Even a little gust of wind is hurting him immensely from how badly burnt he is. Eventually, Dolrus decides that he needs to go all out and just try and persevere. Bear in mind, Dolrus is only going along with where he can barely see Heraxor being. Heraxor stays exactly where he is as Dolrus charges up towards him and goes to jump up and slam his entire body into Heraxor. Heraxor rolls out of the way as Dolrus slams himself into the wall of the arena. As Heraxor lands on top of Dolrus, using her talons and starts digging away at the thick blubber that is there, which has been very much burnt down from the sunbeams. Heraxor digs into there with her talons and beak, trying to bite away at that as Dolrus is trying to jump around, trying to get Heraxor off of him. But Heraxor stays firm, digging into Dolrus with all her strength. Eventually, Dolrus decides to just roll over. Heraxor not able to get out in time, being crushed by the large weight of this beast, as Dolrus is able to get back up, and Heraxor gets back up, very badly crushed by that one move. Is greeted by a fin coming straight down towards him. As Heraxor tries to dodge it, she decides she's going to try and ride it. She lies down on her back, sticks her talons out, and digs her talons into it as she's swept away by Dolrus's fin. Instantly burning up Dolrus's fin as Dolrus is swinging his fin around, trying to slam Heraxor off of him. Eventually, Heraxor does get off of Dolrus's fin, now regained himself from the sheer weight of that beast. Eventually, Dolrus lands on top of Heraxor lands on Dolrus's head again, and this time, actually on her back. Actually lands on his back rather. Heraxor lands on Dolrus's back and using the talons, sticks them into the back of his neck, burning away at the very sensitive flesh that's there, digging away at it as well, biting into it, and eventually, after digging for ages as Dolrus is struggling around, dodging each hit that comes his way, including slamming his head again into the wall of the arena. Eventually, Heraxor gets to the center of his neck, grabs onto the bone inside the neck, and burns away at it into its bristle before biting into it with his beak, snapping right through it. And immediately, Dolrus's head goes from this to that. Dolrus roars in pain as he's still struggling, but his struggling becomes weaker and weaker and weaker as Heraxor flies away, gets to a safe distance, covered in Dolrus's blood. Dolrus is trying to thrash around, getting weaker and weaker and weaker, until eventually Dolrus face plants the arena. All the burns that he racked up, all the pain which Heraxor induced on him, has taken its toll. And with that, Dolrus goes down. Heraxor squawks in victory before making his way back to his chamber, satisfied with his victory. So with that, Heraxor's won, Dolrus has lost. If you think Dolrus should have won, please leave in the comments below why you think that. This is one where I will understand your viewpoint on this one. How my worst final and Heraxor's moving on to the next round. So I gave Heraxor the victory here because of the sunbeam attack being incredibly powerful. It evaporated the entire all the water. But it's also a case of with how badly burnt Dolrus got, that has made him incredibly weaker. But I have taken into account that walruses have a very thick blubber, or thick hides rather. So with that, yes, I knew it was going to take time for Heraxor to eventually kill Dolrus. But Dolrus, still being very weak and disorientated, was lucky to be able to land a hit on Heraxor. So with that, with Heraxor still being able to see, Dolrus being completely blind and unable to see, along with a couple other aspects as well, I didn't see a way in which Dolrus could actually get Heraxor without making Heraxor completely unable to move when Dolrus rolled over her. Well, rolled over him. So with that, Heraxor's won. Dolrus has lost, but if you think Dolrus should have won, I do see where you could be coming from. However, Dolrus just missed out on her semi-finals. But with that, we now have our semi-finalists, the 5 remaining beasts left, and quite frankly, this is an incredibly good batch of beasts to make it into the semi-finals. I seriously have no idea who's going to win this because they all have a good chance in winning. You all know something else? I'm also going to have a hard time picking an underdog for this series. I do have a guess on which one could be the underdog, but I think I need to wait until the tournament's over to find out which beast makes it into the finals, and then I could be like, yeah, I guess you could be the underdog. But yeah, like they all did incredibly good, really. I am really, yeah. This is a great batch of semi-finalists. I have no idea who's going to win. I really don't. But with that being said, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.